Let's look at our top story. India on Monday denied US President Donald Trump's claim that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had asked him to mediate in resolving the Kashmir issue with Pakistan. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar tweeted and said, "We have seen POTUS's remarks to the press that he is ready to mediate if requested by India and Pakistan on Kashmir issue. No such request has been made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to US President. It has been India's consistent position that all outstanding issues with Pakistan are discussed only bilaterally. Any engagement with Pakistan would require an end to cross-border terrorism. The Shimla Agreement and Lahore Declaration provide the basis to resolve all issues between India and Pakistan bilaterally." And Foreign Affairs expert Kamar Agha is joining us on phone line with more insights on the story. Good morning, sir. Welcome to DD News. Now, it's not the first time that US President Donald Trump has been caught making inaccurate statements. Now that the MEA has clarified, also the State Department of the US has also given out a statement which says that Kashmir is a bilateral issue. Do you think this controversy ends here or there's more to it?
I think it should be ended now. Because the MEA has already issued a statement which categorically denies prime ministers, having said such a thing. So it should be ended. I think President Donald Trump have not been able to understand properly what Prime Minister Modi was talking to him. Yes, we wanted Americans' cooperation to end terror operations or to end not only President Trump, but also the global pressure should come on Pakistan. But not we never wanted third-party mediation as far as Kashmir issue is concerned. And Pakistan is one country which has been trying this a number of times, and has raised this issue in different international forums. Although we have a Shimla Accord, or we have a Lahore Declaration, which makes it clear that it's a bilateral dispute and has to be settled through negotiation between the two countries. But Pakistan, I think Pakistan is one country which is creating mischief for a long time. Such a type of thing doesn't last long.
And so one of the reasons this issue created quite a furore was when US President was making the statement. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan was next to him, and he appeared to be in support of the statement. What does Pakistan seek to achieve by involving a third party, and how should India continue to stay firm on a stand?
Basically, Pakistan's game plan is always to keep Kashmir in international news, and debate should continue on Kashmir. They would like, create problem in Kashmir. Then it would be reported in international media, highlight this issue. They know that India will not accept this proposal. And the international community has also accepted accepted it that it's a bilateral dispute. Nobody wants it to be discussed in United Nations or UN takes up this issue. UN is already engaged in too many conflicts and have not been able to solve any of them. Be it an Arab-Israeli conflict or Korean issue of Korean Peninsula. Right. Including Americans have not unable to solve it. These are difficult issues, and India's policy is absolutely clear. We believe it's a bilateral issue. We believe that it has to be settled through negotiation. We also believe that Jammu and Kashmir state, including the occupied territories, are integral part of India. Accession is complete and final. So no negotiation on this issue.
All right. Mr. Kamar Agha, thanks very much for joining us with those insights on the issue. Also joining me is my colleague Amrit Pal Singh, who looks into the foreign affairs of the country. Amrit, good morning. Now, Pakistan's Prime Minister's visit to the US, this is when this controversy really came up, and US President made those statements about Kashmir. If you look at the bigger picture, given the economic crisis that Pakistan is undergoing at the moment, the kind of isolation that it faces on the issue of terrorism, on the international fora, in what context do we see Pakistan's Premier's visit to the US?
The Pakistani Premier's first visit after becoming Prime Minister to the United States is a 3-day visit. It's an important visit because right now, as you rightly say, it's going through an economic crisis. It wants the US aid to be restored back, which it's lobbying hard to do. And it's been trying to take some steps against containing terror, even if they're cosmetic. It's desperately trying to show to the world, especially to the United States, that, either leverage its power with the IMF to reschedule its loans, which it can't pay, which it can't pay the interest of. Forget about paying the principal amount of the loan. So it's in a deep economic mess, and it badly needs the money. And the world has been telling Pakistan that first act on terror. That's a very, very important issue, which is affecting and destabilizing not just the region, but you've become a sort of fountainhead for terror, and such terror organizations operate from your soil with impunity. And yesterday, in fact, if you look at the White House press release, it very clearly says that it accepts that Pakistan has taken some steps against terrorist organizations, but it says that please finish and resolve this issue for once and for all. These are the exact words that I'm quoting from the press release of the White House, which was issued after the meeting between Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Trump. It says you need to finish this issue for once and for all. So clearly the heat is on Pakistan. And I think the Pakistani Premier's impromptu raising this, which was essentially a photo opportunity at the Oval Office at the White House, the issue of Kashmir, was essentially to try and detract the attention on that and rake up the issue of Kashmir at yet another forum.
And there, Amrit, if I may just interrupt, one would brush aside reference of mediation on the issue of Kashmir, which is a bilateral issue. But given that the statement really came from the US President himself, does that require India to pursue the matter further to sort of clarify it once and for all? It has done it always, but given that the US President himself made a statement like that, does it need further pursuit from India?
I think the Indian Foreign Office very clearly said in unambiguous words that Prime Minister no such request was made by Prime Minister Modi to the US President, and it has been India's consistent position that all our outstanding issues with Pakistan, which basically means including Kashmir, to be discussed bilaterally, and this has been the stated policy of India for the past 47 years since that Simla Agreement took place in 1972. Forget about the United States. India does not want intervention or mediation even from the United Nations in the matter.
Right.
So India's stance is very clear. I think they've clarified it. It is, honestly, if you ask me, it's a rather bizarre and ludicrous statement by the US President. He's known to have made such statements in the past, and which India has rebuffed appropriately.
Right, Amrit, there. Thanks very much for joining.